Welcome everyone to Law Talk. This is a show where we give you as much information as we can about the law. The Law Talk is, I'm the host, Sam Lassant, but Law Talk is presented by the Falvello Law Firm, 570-788-4191, or their website, falvellolaw.com, and I'll tell you why that number is so important when we get into the show. Conrad Falvello, how are you?
Doing good today, Sam.
That's good.
Yeah.
A lot of people are calling, asking questions in the comments, etc., like that. One of the things that, and I'll just paraphrase this, we got a call from somebody. She said, you said, Mr. Lassant, I asked Mr. Falvello this question. I was in an accident and I hired a lawyer to represent me, etc., and the lawyer told her that there'd be no charge, that whatever they settle for, he would have a fee from that. And down the road, she got a bill for $1,200 from the attorney, indicating that he needed that money for an expert witness. And so she was quite taken back with that. She was, I don't know if she paid it because they're in the process or whatever. Is that a rule of thumb?
Generally, no, Sam. That's a very good question, by the way, and I think that demonstrates the difference between a personal injury lawyer who does personal injury all the time, like us, and someone who says they do personal injury law, but it's more of a part-time or sidelight. They might do corporate work or real estate or estates, but they'll take a personal injury case as well. And I think what a lot of clients don't realize, and some lawyers, is that when you, like us, when we do a personal injury case, you have to be prepared to work that case up the way it should be worked up. And that includes anticipating that somewhere along the line you're going to need to engage an expert witness. The reason for that is that you have to prepare the case as if you're going into court tomorrow. Because the insurance companies know that if you don't have proper records and you don't have expert witnesses and you don't have the case worked up the way that an injury case should be worked up, they're not going to pay. Or they're not going to pay the type of money that should be paid. So if you present a claim, an injury claim, to an insurance company, even before suit, even before a lawsuit, if you do that and it's very superficial and you don't have an expert, such as an orthopedic expert or a neurological expert, or mostly doctors because you're talking about injuries, to tell the insurance company the nature of the injury, why the injury occurred, meaning it's related to the trauma of the accident, and what the diagnosis and prognosis for that injury is. Is the person going to get better? Are they going to have permanent residual effects? Will those permanent residual effects impact their ability, for example, to work? Will they lose income from that? If you don't have that, if you don't engage these experts, mostly on a neutral basis, not the treating doctor, but some other independent doctor to take a look and say, yes, I agree with the treating doctor, this is the impact that this injury is going to have on this person, the insurance company is not going to pay the kind of money that that person deserves. So that's the difference. In my experience, we do that. Somebody comes into us, we don't send them a bill for an expert witness.
A couple of questions here. Okay, number one is, there's many years ago we had frivolous lawsuits. Okay, when you go to a respective lawyer like you, Falvello Law Firm, you will look at that case and you will know whether there's something to proceed or not to proceed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so you assess that.
We do, and there's a pretty wide degree of how you assess it. For example, on what I'll call it the easier side, an accident, auto accident, If you look at the police report, person runs a red light and hits you and two witnesses see it. That's on the police report. You can talk to the two witnesses to verify what the investigating officer wrote on the report. That liability or fault issue is pretty clear. The other end of the spectrum, though, Sam, is a medical negligence or medical malpractice case. Those cases, you need an expert witness no matter what, because the law says that in order to pursue a medical malpractice claim, you have to have an expert report in hand when you file that lawsuit that says, in that expert's opinion, there was a breach in standard of care that caused a harm to the patient that would not have otherwise occurred. So they're kind of the two ends of the spectrum. And as you might suspect, the medical malpractice, that setting is more challenging in a way because you need that expert on board right away. You need to get all of the relevant medical records. They have to be reviewed by the experts, so you have to do quite a bit of work in a medical malpractice setting just to determine if there's a case.
With that being said, this person who got billed $1,200, okay, because the lawyer said he needed it for the expert witness, she asked me if she could change lawyers. I don't know how long he was involved with the case, but she said that she felt that she was lied to, and now she's caught.
Yeah.
Okay, can she change lawyers?
She could. I mean, there's much more. Personally, I'd like to know about where things are in the case. Is it in the beginning? Is it soon after the accident occurred, or or is the case on the verge of going to trial? Big difference there, because, as you might suspect, it's easier to engage another lawyer when you're early on in the case than it is on your way to trial when you're walking in the courtroom.
You brought a good point up in saying about all the work that has to be involved. Because sometimes people are anxious. All right, are you working on my case? How come you didn't get this done? And they want it done now. Okay, and I guess sometimes there's a lot that has to be done before you can come to any kind of presentation.
Like you said, that depends on the type of case.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that has to be done. For example, I think what I've experienced over my 48 years and Alexis in her 15 years is anytime you're hurt, it's a very emotional experience. From a relatively simple, if you will, injury like a sprained neck to classic whiplash to something more serious where, we've represented clients who've lost spouses or children. I mean, that's just gut-wrenching. I mean, it really is. It's tough. But there's a lot going on. For example, if you're hurt, you can't work, where do you go? What do you do? Okay, they talk about Social Security. That might take a while to get those benefits. Your coverage on your own auto. Does your auto insurance pay you to replace your wages if you can't work? So we look at that. Did the accident happen at work? Was there a third party responsible for your work accident? Well, if that's the case, you can still get workers' comp, but you have to pay comp back if you recover from the at-fault party. So depending on the case, there's a multitude of issues that have to be looked at and addressed and handled in different ways. They're all different. And all of that, at least for us, it goes to, as best we can, making the client feel at ease under very challenging, very trying circumstances.
An interesting question is, how much does experience count when you're looking at a accident case or a medical case, etc.? So, how much does experience count?
Sam, the example that you just gave us a few moments ago about the attorney said, well, here's a bill for the expert witness, that would tell me that that lawyer is not very experienced. So the answer to your question is it counts a lot. It counts a lot because let's look at something else. If you have a business, a big business, a very successful business, you want to get a good corporate lawyer, okay? You wouldn't want to hire a good personal injury lawyer for something that requires a lot of experience in corporate law. Same thing goes with personal injury cases. You want to look for an experienced personal injury lawyer.
Connie, when you talk about personal injury, okay, the areas that what does that umbrella cover? Personal injury. I mean, it's maybe a simple question, but when I say, okay, when do I need the Falvello Law firm, okay, to help me whatever personal injury? What area?
What it is, Sam, is I think I do my best to give a simple answer here. The answer is if somebody is hurt, meaning a physical injury to their body, I don't care if it's a broken bone or cuts, whatever it might be, something that hurts them physically, and that occurs because of the fault of someone else, then under the law, you in all likelihood, and probably do, have a personal injury claim against the at-fault party. Person running a red light, we talked about that before. Someone who doesn't take care of the steps on their house, and the step might collapse because it's all rotted and they didn't take care of it, and they knew it was rotted, and you get hurt. Or, some simple negligence.
Another question is, there are a lot of people who are very honest, okay, and they may have got hurt, maybe someplace at work or whatever, and someone say, look, I'm not gonna, it's nothing, it'll get better, I just fell, and and because they respect where the employer,
right.
Or if they're at a person, and they don't want to do that. And then down the road is, oh, boy, I'm really having some serious problems with this back, my arm, my leg, or whatever. Because some people are not, want to sue crazy. Okay, I'm trying to say.
And I've seen that to be the case. That a lot of our clients who come in, I just want to find out, do I have a case in it? And there again, the answer is simple. See your doctor. If you have something that you didn't have before the incident occurred, see your doctor. Whether it's your arm, your neck, your leg, whatever it might be, to find out if there's a causal connection between the trauma or the impact or whatever it was that caused you harm and what you're experiencing now. It's not unusual for us to see someone in a car accident. I think that's the most common. A lot of people are in shock when they're in a car accident. Adrenaline's flowing.
Sure.
They might get out of the car and their car might be banged up, and they're worried about their car, and they're worried about getting to work, or they're worried about their, the family, or what am I going to tell my spouse, or what have you. And at the scene of the accident, they may decline medical treatment, because a lot of times police are called, the police will see the extent of the accident, they'll call an ambulance just in case, they might decline. But the next day or 2 days later, that person might be very sore, may not, some of them say, geez, I felt like I got hit by a truck. And it's true, you may have been hit by a truck. So to answer your question, yes, go see your doctor as soon as you can. Give them a good history of what happened, particularly if you have something else going on, another medical condition. Like some people a lot of people see chiropractors on a regular basis, okay? That may have nothing, if it was prior to the accident, have nothing to do with the accident, but certainly is relevant to a neck or a back injury from an accident.
As you're explaining this to me, now I understand what you mean when you say, if you're in an accident, call us. I mean, because therefore, you want to get as much information as possible. And the other thing is, you said, do not talk to the other person's insurance. No way. You have your own insurance company, and that's why I think I understand now why it's, if you're in an accident, call Falvello Law Firm, and this way you can give them the proper advice so they don't have these headaches later on.
Yeah. I mean, that's the good, I think, the proper course to follow.
Yeah.
But the reality is, Sam, that, when you're in an accident, if you're hurt,
No.
people don't think about it right away.
Yeah,
But they should.
I'm
They
saying
should.
within a 24-hour period, or after this trauma, etc. I better call Falvello Law Firm and just ask questions about that, folks. I'm talking to Conrad Falvello from Falvello Law Firm, 570-788-4191, or falvellolaw.com. Experience is extremely important. When we come back, I'm going to mention about experience and how that could have an effect on a determination of maybe a lawsuit. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to Law Talk, my friends. I'm Sam Lasanta, host of Law Talk. Law Talk is presented by the Falvello Law Firm, 570-788-4191 or falvellolaw.com. Now, my email is sam@ssptv.com. We had a number of people who emailed me questions. If you have any questions that you'd like me to ask Attorney Falvello, please email them to me. I'm an insurance company, okay? And I have dealt with a lot of lawyers, a lot of firms as my insurance company. If I see a claim coming in from an inexperienced lawyer that I don't know that much of a reputation, okay, is my decision going to be a little bit tainted if I see Falvello Law Firm is representing this company? So I better be careful as to what I'm doing. Do I take advantage of the inexperienced law firm versus the Falvello Law Firm, which I know I'm going to have a difficult time here?
There is a difference, Sam, and I can explain it in a different way, because insurance adjusters, insurance attorneys, they know plaintiff lawyers from their experience with them.
Right.
So if we're dealing with an adjuster from any number of insurance companies, in all likelihood we've dealt with them before.
Yeah.
They know who we are. They know what we do. And I think that is very important for a person to know when they're looking for a personal injury lawyer, somebody to handle their case. Because if they know you don't work up the cases, if they know you won't take it to a trial or an arbitration or
Yeah.
mediation,
Yeah.
all of the avenues that are available to personal injury clients, I think things are just not going to turn out as well.
Another question, an interesting question came in here, and the question was, ask Mr. Falvello if there was any case that had a personal impact on him. Now, reason I say that is sometimes you look at a lawyer as a business, not realizing that you're dealing with a person that has feelings, emotions, families, and they're human as just as we are, okay? And did you ever have a stupid question? I'm no, sorry, it's not a stupid question. I guess the person want to know, how human is Falvello? Did any cases ever have a personal impact on you?
Oh, yes, for sure. I can't mention specific names or even too much detail in them because it would breach our attorney-client relationship and confidentiality, but generally speaking, the loss of a spouse, a parent, and particularly the loss of a child, and we've had too many of those, to be honest with you, Sam. I mean, I can think of a couple of very horrific, very sudden losses of children or parents or catastrophic injury. Somebody who, you know, we represented a young man, 16 years old, who was in a backyard swimming pool and dove off a diving board. They should never be on backyard swimming pools. They're dangerous. And the people that make pools know that. But this young man dove off the board and hit the elevation, the pitched part of the pool, and he broke his neck and was in a wheelchair. And now he's in a wheelchair the rest of his life. So things like that, they do get to you. You know?
Because I think you have to have the compassion.
Yes, they do, but there's certainly, in cases like that, with such sudden and catastrophic losses, for me, they're a motivator. They're a motivator because it's first of all, it's unimaginable. You can't help but put yourself in the seat of the poor folks that have suffered that loss, and you want to do the best you can for them. You really do, and it's certainly important for in situations like that for the attorney, the professional, to be honest with them and let them know about the case and what has to be done and what the odds are and everything you can about them, and that it's not tougher in the sense of what we do, you know, because we do it the same in all the cases, but there is an emotional component because it can't be avoided. We're all humans.
Yeah. Another question, you know, you do wills, right?
Yeah, we do. We're basically a small town. We're not Philadelphia lawyers. You know, we have a lot of friends, and they'll walk in. Can you do a will? Sure, we could do a will.
Okay, so the question about a will: what's the difference between a living will and a last will and testament?
Well, there's quite a difference. The last will and testament, Sam, is the written direction of a person. It's that person's written direction of what to do when they die. And in most cases, as you might suspect, the will, what we see a lot is husband and wife will come in, and wife will, you know, anything the wife has be left to the husband. Husband leaves it to the wife. If the husband or wife predeceases, then if they have children, usually to children in equal shares. That's the simplest scenario we see with wills, and the most frequent. But then you have people that want to do specific charitable gifts, you know, whether it's okay, we want to give money or something else to their church or to a school, or we've had, and I don't think our viewers would be too surprised by this, or we've had people give cash gifts to animal shelters because they've had pets and they've given them to
How
animals.
important it is, yeah.
We're dog people. We have, my daughter's dog and my son's dog will be in the office on occasion. People love it. They're you know, they're very welcoming, and most everybody out there is.
Okay, let's talk about, I got 2 minutes left, contesting the will. Okay, someone says that, you know, there was a true case where the people left money to a charity and they wanted to go there, and the kids contested it saying that wasn't correct.
That's very difficult to do. If the will is what we call a proven will, signed by the person that made the will, witnessed and notarized, that will is going to be hard to upset because the law views a person's will as the most sacred document in the state of Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Very difficult to overturn.
All right, my friend.
We could do a whole show on it.
I'd like to talk. We talk about personal injury. You're talking about experience. You're talking about things that affect you. 788 4191. That is the phone number, 570-788-4191, falvellolaw.com. Now, I wonder how many of you went and looked at your car insurance and made sure that you got full tort. We're going to repeat that again. Make sure you have full tort. Am I correct in saying that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Take it from Attorney Lassant. And so that means I can't leave my kids the $20 million apiece I was leaving them, right? Sammy's over
Well,
there.
it's the old story, Sam. You know, they left it all to their dog or cat.
Yeah, right.
Well, you can't. You
Yeah.
can't.
Wow. Oh, Gucci's in being good shape. My son's- All right. Any questions, my friends? Remember, it's sam@ssptv.com. Just give me an email, and I'll be more than happy to ask Attorney Falvello your questions. See you next time.
We'll be happy to answer.